Hey there, I've grown up in this church and all these years I've made it without having to get behind this microphone. So I don't want Mark to get any ideas because this is a one-time thing.
He will.
One thing I did miss when Deborah got up here, I leaned up to Haley, I said, oh, I'm screwed. I'll tell you, Bill said, just say a couple of words about what the church meant to Mother and what she meant to the church. Well, I didn't know, I just brought this so it looked like I wrote something down, you know. But the one thing I did want to tell you when I looked at these pictures here, first of all, I'm one person that can say I double dated with Bill Pennington. I had a great time with Bill Pennington. I fixed him up with my best friend's mother. Didn't take, but I knew they'd have fun. Harry and I did that. Now, I hadn't double dated with Marcus and Betty, but I'm still open. It doesn't make any difference. Sarah Jane that's here donated a car to Sierra that's holding her hand up right there. And she drove that car a lot longer than the one Haley helped her get that she totaled. So, as far as everybody here, and I can't even compete with Mary Hartman, y'all know that. I mean, that's just one of a kind. But as far as Mother's concerned, what the church means to her and what she means to the church, I started thinking about that. There's a lot of different things. But when I think about what the church means to Mother, Mother was born in Cadiz, Ohio. And the other night, first of all, I tell you, she came home from church. She said, oh my goodness, I've gone to that board meeting. They're doing something for this older generation. So I don't know what they're thinking about doing, but I'm not going to do it. Well, I just acted like I didn't know what she was talking about. So, because I thought it was a surprise, so I didn't say a word about the rest of the week. We lived together. The only time I could even think about this is if I was in the bathroom with the door closed. Because she'd read anything or know exactly what I was doing, you know. And I knew she'd already be afraid for what I might get up here and say. So, as far as what the church means to Mother, Cadiz, Ohio, when they went there, they were Church of Christ before Mother was born. When they went back to the small town in Perugia and Paris, they went back because there was not a Church of Christ in Cadiz, Ohio. So when they went back to Perugia, they had joined the church, Disciple of Christ. And then they've been there ever since. Mother named Kingsway Church. Wasn't like she was gifted, I think it was a drawing. But she named Kingsway, which is our church that came from here. But a little bit about the family tree and who was here. Mari, grandmother. When I think about these, the Norma Penningtons, the Edwina Johnson that took Mama and Grandmama to church. And of course, Jean that was here and everything. And I guess that's why I was here so much. Not so much with Mother, but Jean and Grandmother were such a force too, and Granddaddy, and we were here every Sunday. Mom was active in the church and loved singing in the choir. She's a voice major, only one in her family that went to college. She came to church, she loves the choir and being a part of that. But the biggest thing she gained from Central was the faith that she has and the believing in everyone. The faith and the diversity that she has, you know, I can't do this. So anyway, the diversity that she's taken, but you can see the families that are here who's with us. I share stories about her because I watched her, the things that I admire that she learned from Central. I watched when someone rang our doorbell one night, and it was a family, a Hispanic family, that had domestic violence involved, and Mother's living with me if everybody doesn't know. And they didn't have a place to go, and they were out of the house, and the 5 kids were crying. My mother never stopped, never thought about it, not anything, but she gave her keys and her code to her alarm system and said, go to my house and live at my house as long as you need to. When Sierra needed a place, she had no problem with Sierra coming to live with us. Her heart and her spirit, that all came from Central. I mean, she had role models and people and Eula's and all the different ones. When I grew up, I can remember the one thing that probably drives Wes crazier than anything, her stubbornness, her way to rules, she does not wear a seatbelt, and we won't go there. But anyway, her rules and the way she does it, there is a way you do things in a church. There's the correct way, and there's the wrong way, and you will never smooth it over with Mother. Now, the only way you'll get something done with Mother differently is if you go through Haley, because Haley's done no wrong. So Haley can get it done for you, but nobody else. But in every board meeting, I know when she makes her decisions and she thinks she will never get anything by her because she's representing Dr. Butts, she's representing Jack Ardman. She is the one that just doesn't smile and go, oh, that'll be fine. You're going to have to convince her, and it's harder now because she's hard of hearing. Her eyesight's not as good. She doesn't like the lights in the church. She can't see anything. It doesn't make any difference if I say, Mother, the rest of us can all see. You just say that no matter what I say. And that's what she'd say to me. But the thing that I'll tell you is I can remember growing up, the way you do things right in the church. There was a vote that was necessary in the church. And something that I believe and gave me feeling and know, I went home every night and Jean and my mother got on the phone and they called called every church member that ever been active or inactive in Central to tell them that there was going to be a vote. They didn't tell them how to vote. That in the way Dr. Butts and Mother and the different ones Jack Artman did, and I don't know Jack might a few times, but that in the way they normally did. But they didn't tell you how to vote, but they told you these are the facts. And the Disciple of Christ Church, this is the way you do it. And then you make your own decision. My mother still does that today when she tells Sierra what you need to do. You're a young mother. You need to keep yourself up. You need to keep yourself looking good no matter what. She tells it how it is. But she's also there for anything, anytime that you need. Yesterday I left work early. I hope I can get this because I know time's up. I left work early yesterday at 2 because I met with a young girl that has 6 kids. That's 26 years old. I left Mother with the shop. And this is the things that she learned through her church and she has brought on to me. I got the glory of Rachel's kids, but I learned that from Maureen and from Jean and from grandmother, and I hope I leave that legacy to Haley as well. A mama with 6 kids that's going to turn herself in tomorrow to spend the night in jail for a violation, and we got a place for those 6 kids to live because she's evicted and she's on the street and she's homeless now. And I tell you this because those kids are twins that are a year old. The hardest thing it was for me to find a safe home for those kids. When I know my Haley and her partner Paula want a baby so bad, but I could still at the same time put them in a home that I knew would be good for them. The 3 boys get them in a place where they're 6, 7, and 8, and it's Freddie's kids that many of you know. And I could turn around and get that 3-year-old into a home. My mother taught me those skills. Those skills came out of this church, that we accept everybody. We don't judge. We accept them the way they are. We do the best we can do with the skills that we've got to spread it out into our community. We did those things and we got her situated. We paid Rachel's kids for a room for her to be. On Wednesday, she goes back to Oxford, Mississippi to face a charge there. After we do that, then Rachel's kids is going to try to get her situated. The kids won't come back for a while. But Mother's faith was stronger than mine because when she was first getting evicted, I personally gave a big sum of money to pay court costs and keep her in this house. And she didn't do what she was supposed to do, so I just cut bait and said, there's sometimes you have to turn away. And repeatedly, Mother said to me, it's not the kids that did that, Rachel, it's not the kids. She made poor choices. When we moved her out of her house on Wednesday and I got someone to help, they said, that house smells awful. And Mother said, if I had 6 kids and my utilities had been off for a month, my house would smell awful too. So she has that accepting spirit that she always sees the good and the bad. Now she's so sarcastic, she'll say negative out of her mouth every time. But her heart is laced in gold in it. That's what the church has given to her, the spirit that keeps her going. And that, I'll end this with telling you one thing, but she said to me at the next breath, what has she done for the church? And I was like, wow. She put carnation boutonnieres on the men forever until they started wearing sports shirts and stopped looking like idiots. Of course, and then she accepted things. She was against wine in the church, but if you make a vote and it goes through, she's going to go for it. You know, she may live at home, but you'll never hear it. But she still lets us have wine on our events. She carries a tackle box to every function and food. She's disappointed now that she can't cook the way she wants to. Y'all won't hear that. Maybe I will. But she wishes she could do more. But her love and her grace is with every one of you. If I miss a Sunday, I hear how you were. If Deborah seems like she's down, she's worried about Deborah. If she sees somebody in the church and they're struggling, then she worries about them. She wants to know how Shula's doing. She thinks Quay's getting along well. Bill's in the hospital. I hear every single from the front row back. And we go over it at different ones. Nanda had a hard time breathing or whatever it is. Her heart is there and her heart is with you. And when I close on this and saying that her heart is with this church, Maureen's heart was with this church, Jean's was, I grew up in this church, Haley on all the different functions. I don't know any of those dates, y'all. I can hardly remember the date that Haley was born, except it's tomorrow, you know. So I do tell you that the last thing we walked out the door, the phone rang, and I picked it up and said, oh, who is this? And I'm trying to get the girls that stopped off in the car, and I said, oh, it's, I don't know. And I answered, it was a young man, and he was crying over the phone. And this young man, I'd help get a job, and it's the father of one of these kids. I'd have to get a job sometime back where he stole something on the job. It was little Tiffany lamps that they were selling, and he put one about a garbage can, and he took it home, and he lost the job. And he called and he apologized to me afterwards that he had stolen it, but that, I accepted it and went on, and you have to let go. And this morning before I left, I answered the phone, and he was crying, and he said, "I'm so sorry, Miss Rachel." And I said, "Who is this?" "This is QB. And I'm so sorry." And he was crying. And I said, "Well, darling, it's okay, it's okay." And he said, "Yes, but I'm losing everything that I love. His child's gone somewhere else, the kids are going somewhere else. He's had to find a home." And he says, "I'm losing everything I love." And I said, "I have to walk out the door, I'm going to church. I will pray for you, QB, and I'll talk to you after church." And as we walked to the car, my mother said, "We have to help QB. That's our next stop." So the grace of Central is in her. I hope it bleeds through all of us. Thank you.